Retiring early with music, not just a dream anymore, it's my plan. Every musician dreams of going full-time with music, which is a great goal to have. But what's the plan after that? By the time you start asking yourself that question, it might be too late. So with the help of a financial planner, because I am definitely not one, I've put together a 3-step plan that's going to turn my retirement dreams into a reality. It's so simple, you could do it too. It's about making your music work for you, not anyone else. All the way to that beachside retirement home that you completely own way before you even hit 65, especially if you're younger than I am. But just like you wouldn't head out to the beach without this, you shouldn't start your retirement plan without step number 1. So imagine you're packing for your dream beach trip. You've got sunscreen, your shades, but what about having an item that magically extended the length of your vacation? That sounds incredible, right? This is exactly what a Roth IRA does for musicians. Roth IRA stands for an individual retirement account. This tool lets us invest after-tax dollars, which can grow tax-free for the future. And when retirement comes, or maybe an emergency happens, you can withdraw from that savings account without having to deal with taxes either. It's kind of like a song that you compose today that keeps paying you royalties until further notice. For years. Normally in a Roth IRA, you can put up to about $6,000 a year into it, and then it grows with interest over time. But I digress. Because a Roth IRA, in my opinion, is just a savings account.
Come here, let me talk to you. I got a checking and a savings, but all the money is in my savings.
Which isn't enough. There's more that we need to do if we're going to retire anytime before the age of 65. So we got our Roth IRA, it's kind of like laying the foundation for our perfect beach home. But what about the actual structure? We need to throw up the walls, the stairs, all that kind of stuff. How do you ensure that each track contributes to your retirement dreams? Not just for today, but for years to come. Here's the secret. It's all about creating a portfolio of tracks that you can use for sync licensing purposes. I'm not just talking about decent tracks, I'm talking about sync gold. Tracks that are versatile, emotionally resonant, and have that replay factor. Because one song can be used an infinite amount of times if it helps serve a story or a product. Assume you create a track that gets picked up in a sync licensing commercial. On average, a well-placed track can earn you anywhere between $2,000 to $8,000 up front. Plus, you get your back-end royalties from your PRO affiliation. Now, if you just had 5 of those tracks that you were making a year, that's a $10,000 a year bonus just for making music you were probably willing to make anyway. Plus the royalties on the back end. But here's where it gets interesting. If you reinvest a little portion of those funds that you've received from your placement into making even more high-quality tracks, new equipment, education, or putting yourself into more opportunities to pitch your music for higher sync fees, shameless plug, Shades of Sync helped with all of these, it's going to speed up your timeline in earning faster. So now you don't have to save as much, as long as you're living within your means, of course. That beats the heck out of making TikToks to try to get famous. In 5 years, you're not just earning from 25 tracks, but potentially 50 or more. There's no such thing as an old song when it comes to sync licensing. This approach will turn your music into a snowball, gaining size and momentum as it rolls down the hill. By the time you're ready for that beach house at 45, 55 maybe, your music can provide you that steady income so that you can walk right into retirement. With sync, we're not just making songs, we're creating wealth-building assets that we can use 70 years after we expire. A bit dark, but you get what I mean, right? Live like no one else so that later you can live like no one else. Making sacrifices for financial freedom later. I'll never forget my father explained to me that the life expectancy of sheet metal workers was 5 years after they retired. Just 5 years? So you work your whole entire life and you're only able to relax not working for just 5 years. Doesn't make any sense. That's why we're here to change that. So with the Roth IRA as your foundation for your beach home, and you got those waves coming in that are reinvesting from your royalties, what if something happens? Maybe a storm comes through or a drought and the waves aren't coming in as often. What if the royalties are starting to slow down? This leads me to my 3rd step. That's going to help us grow our retirement funds without even making a consistent placement every month. Because it's not just about earning, it's about growing. I'm gonna show you some ways passively that I think are going to be beneficial. Diversified investment is the key. I'm not just making music in one genre, maybe I'm going to expand, so now I'm pushing 2 or 3 genres at one time to triple the sync earning potential I have. Think of your investment strategy like a music festival lineup. You need a variety of different assets, just like a mix of different genres at a venue. It keeps the audience engaged and no one gets bored from hearing the same trap songs. We can do this by starting with a low cost index fund like the S&P 500, something that's consistent that gives you what, about 7 to 9% a year. And then any type of dividends that you receive, I'm going to just throw them back and reinvest into those stocks so that I can try to maximize the growth as fast as possible. Some of my homies have gotten into real estate after maintaining a steady income of sync placements, saving a little bit, and then finding other ways to make their money grow. Diversifying your investments is like building a fortress around your retirement, because each investment strengthens and speeds up your timeline when it comes to retiring earlier. And what I found out is that if you have dividends in specific stocks, they pay you on a quarterly basis. So by the time you retire, you'll still be having income coming in from not just your songs, but also from things that you've invested in the past. I don't know about you guys, but what this says to me is that I need to start now in order to actually have some compound interest to profit off of in the future. Because with this, we're not just saving, we're cultivating our oasis on the beach, living off the fruits of our labor with the soothing sound of waves in the background. So let's bring this all back to the beach by maximizing our Roth IRA contributions, saving maybe an additional $5K every month from sync placements that we get over time, and then investing wisely and taking a percentage of that and throwing it into some type of low risk index funds, keeping my relative costs low. We won't be just building a sandcastle that's just gonna wash away with the tide. We're building a solid, luxurious beach home worth $1.2 million. With a conservative estimate, this dream can actually become a reality within 10 to 15 years. But if you haven't started on this journey of sync licensing to speed up your retirement dreams, you need to make sure that your music has a larger guarantee of actually being placed on a consistent basis, making music that's built for sync. If you want to learn how to do that, check this video out here. We break it all down.